Hey guys, and welcome to a guest ledger. That's right, I've already got a name. We're not even an episode in to this podcast with me, Gabriel, and basically the idea of this podcast, this show, is apart from this first episode, where it is just me giving you a little introduction to what this will be like, a little bit of an introduction to me, so you can maybe connect with someone more so through the episodes. But basically, the idea is we get on a new person every single episode, right? I'm not planning to do any repeats currently. There may be if there's a request or if I feel like it later. But the premise is that it is basically a guest ledger, right? We invite a new person on every time. And this is going to start with friends, obviously people I know, really get a vibe and practice talking in a podcast format, practice asking questions, follow up conversations, and really kind of finding a groove. And then we'll go into maybe a few more episodes of mutual friends. And then the intention is to ask random people to be on, right? Whether they are somewhat famous or just completely random people that I meet and I'm interested in, right? So the idea is to get a different perspective from everyone that comes on this show and kind of learn maybe a lesson, maybe just have a story, maybe have a background chat that you guys can listen to. That's the idea, right? So I've got a few questions to go through. I'm not doing this completely unprompted, to let you guys know a little bit about me and a bit more of what this is and what motivated me to do this. So let me start with that. What why am I doing this? What motivated me to do this, right? A podcast is something I've wanted to start for probably only a few months, right? Only a few months, and it took me a few months to have the confidence to start and press record on this episode. And I don't really know why. It doesn't need too much confidence, right? To start and press record and just talk, right? But I think the main reason why I want to do this is because of what I can kind of see in the future and what I've had a friend already do. So I've got a friend who started a podcast maybe around a year ago, and she's just got her first proper guest, right? Person she completely doesn't know, and they're decently famous, right? And that's not why I want to do it, right? I don't want to do it to meet famous people, right? That's not really the goal. But I do want to do it to, for one, gain perspective. Talking to people is something that I've always just had a desire to do, right? Whether it's on the train, in the gym, in any other situation in life, I'm always one of those people who will just say hi and start a conversation, right? And I feel like that's a pretty transferable skill into doing something like this. At least I hope, right? The ability to keep a conversation going even when you don't know someone, the ability to kind of connect and be open and give the right vibe within the first, couple minutes, I think is a skill that I would say I'm decent at, right? This is harder for me talking without any other person there or responding. But there we go. This is episode 1. So, right. What do I do? A little bit about me, right? I'm Gabriel, and I've just graduated from the University of Bath, and I'm still in Bath for about a month longer, and then I'll be moving up to Edinburgh. So a pretty exciting time in my life, and I feel like it's in a way the perfect time, right? I've got a month here. I can hit up some friends, record some episodes of this, and then move to a completely new city where effectively I'm forced to if I want to keep this podcast going, I'm effectively forced to say hi to new people, ask them, do they want to be on this? And yeah, I think it's a great way to get to know someone, if nothing else, right? Sit down and not hugely prompted, but have a very loosely structured conversation with someone. I think is a pretty good way to get to know someone, right? See what flows, see what stems from the chat. A little bit about me. I did computer science as a degree. I love playing tennis. I would say I'm all right at it. I was on the uni team here for a year, and then in my final year, it's on performance, which is still a team, a little bit below Bucks, if you guys know it. But we got a really strong level here, and I've really enjoyed it. I started dancing about 8 months ago, and probably the best decision of my life so far. Started with salsa, so partner dance, really social, really fun, and it's not planned, right? So in a way, a little bit like I want this to be. There's a loose structure to the dance. There's a timing you have to stay on, but effectively the leader just kind of decides what to do in the dance, right? There's a follower and a leader. Nothing's choreographed. There are moves that it helps to know, right? But it's kind of a me vibe. So what I actually do is bachata, which is a similar vibe to salsa, a little bit slower, a little bit more body movement, but it's really, really fun. I play some piano. I've taken a few singing lessons, and yeah, go gym. Started CrossFit recently, a week ago. A little bit controversial there. Used to hate on it, but I actually, after going for a week, kind of like the vibe, right? It won't replace the gym for me in its entirety. I would still need the structure of the gym, right? And, hitting those main lifts consistently. CrossFit is a little bit random, but the social vibe is great. Everyone's there. Everyone's pushing you on if you're one of the last few. And I feel like these are the things, and it's taught me a lesson as well, right? I used to hate on it just because I saw on the internet people do kipping pull-ups. It's not proper fitness. It's injury prone. I think you've got to try it for yourself, though. Yeah, you've got to try it for yourself, because the people there are pretty cool. The kipping pull-ups aren't an outright replacement to strict pull-ups. Most of the workouts still encourage you to do strict pull-ups or strict form exercises. So if you've got something like that in your life, I would encourage you to try it yourself, and then at least know you don't like it, rather than just kind of take a blanket opinion that's generally considered right. I think that's what I've learned from CrossFit, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay. What's something I could talk about for hours? Well, if you don't know already by the vibe I've been giving off, I can talk non-stop for a good while about a good range of things. Probably recently dance, but I would say the one topic I could talk genuinely for hours about is tennis. I play it a lot. I watch it a lot. I worked on the tennis tour for a year last year, which was unbelievable. I went to Australia twice and worked on the Australian Open. A couple of the best months of my life. Best month of my life was there. And amazing vibe, amazing mix of kind of drama, sport, skill. There's a lot to talk about. There's enough of a wide variety of stuff to talk about. Currently Wimbledon's on. I don't know when I'm going to upload this episode, but yesterday Dimitrov lost, and I was pretty devastated. I was in a dance lesson at the time, and they were in a fifth set tiebreak, and I was like, I won't watch it. This is going to hurt too much, because I know Dimitrov, and when you care as much as he does, even when you're the more talented, you're the better player, it's going to get to you, right? And that's what tennis is. It's just as much mental as it is physical. And I knew it. I didn't watch the tiebreak. And then I saw it after the lesson, 10-7, absolutely gutting, right? But positive, Arthur Ferry did actually train at Team Bath for a little bit, right? So got a couple mutuals with him. Happy for him, right? British crowd, British player, last Brit left in the tournament, but still pretty gutted. Still pretty gutted. Favorite player on the women's tour is Muchova. If you guys watch tennis, don't worry. If not, there's a lot more to this show and a lot more that we'll talk about. We won't just talk about tennis at all. And then, yeah, the plan for this show. I mean, I've already talked about this, but yeah, so just as a kind of final conclusion to this first episode. So this was a little bit of a get to know me, hear my voice a little bit, maybe. We'll probably do another episode of a Q&A, maybe about me, if it, if it comes across, if people want it, right? But the main plan for this is the other people will do most of the talking, right? I'll follow it up. I may share a story here or there about my life connecting with them, but it'll mostly be about the guest and an experience or something they do, or just a general chat about their life, or maybe not even about them, right? But just a different perspective on something, or just a cool story they've got, right? So the plan is start with a few friends that I know, just so I can not have to worry about, asking maybe a sensitive question, and I can learn, what are good questions to ask? How does this general flow work? Then we'll move into mutuals, kind of like a middle ground. I will genuinely be learning as well about their life, as well as you guys. So I'll have to do a little bit of background explaining and practice that skill. And then after, maybe 8, 9, 10 episodes of friends and mutual friends, we'll move on to strangers, right? Whether that's me messaging someone to do this, or just meeting someone and being like, hey, that's you down to record a little episode talking about something, right? So that's the plan. And that does rely on me having the confidence and sustaining the confidence to ask people to be guests on this show. And that's going to be the hardest bit. When I've got them ready to record, I feel like that's going to be pretty fine, right? When you start a conversation, everything's good. Just getting them set up, right? That's going to be the hard bit. But I'm looking forward to generally doing this, pushing myself socially, and hopefully you guys will see me grow in confidence as well, in just the way I ask questions, or how comfortable I come across as a host and on camera. I think will be nice, right? Maybe you can connect to it, maybe you can take inspiration from it, or hopefully it's just a good background podcast, to put on. We'll have a chat about something, and it'll be a nice little background podcast. So with that said, this was the Guest Ledger with Gabriel, and I'll see you next episode, where I will have a guest for you.